Hello, welcome to Talk Rise to Me. I am Jesse.
I'm Hack.
I'm Gabby.
Karen.
I'm Jay, the only guy not wearing black.
White.
White.
So white house.
Only guy wearing black. No
All right.
memo.
To start today's episode, I actually want to ask you a question, Karen. This is not on the topics list.
Ooh, I'm ready.
Hey, you've been in fun employment for a while, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I have. Probably like almost 5 months. 5 months coming up.
What spurred this? Because you've always been from my perspective, been a very driven and career-driven woman.
Yeah.
And you're always on top of your ish, and you're like, yeah, you the queen. So what happened?
No, I appreciate that. I think a lot of my friends know. I guess you guys probably know too. I was like grinding really, really hard for like a long time. Probably like as long as I could remember. Right. I came out of college and like was very much focused on like, hey, these are the things that I need to check off. These are the things I need to do. And I think I was very like, I was pretty like structured in the way I wanted to go about doing those things, right? So I like worked hard, I worked all the time, I tried to excel, I tried to stand out. But I found myself like at a point where I was like overworking myself and I physically felt it in like a number of ways. And I kind of came to a point where I was like, man, I gotta like stop for like my health, right? So I took some time off and not really with anything like in mind, right? And I think like for me as a person, I'm like relatively risk averse. So I would say like me 5 years ago would have been like, man, I need a backup plan first. I need to like get a job before I quit, all that stuff. But I kind of was like YOLO. I kind of like hit a point and I was like, I have to quit. And I did. I left and I really didn't look back all too much since then. So I've just been kind of, I don't want to say taking it easy, right? It's not stressful when you're unemployed, right? You just do have to think about how you're spending your money, right?
Yes.
Like what your timeline actually looks like, stuff like that. But as of right now, I'm kind of focusing on the things that I didn't do when I was working all the time, right? Like spending time with my family, my friends, like traveling as much as I can, sleeping, yard work, stuff like yard work, right? Like cleaning my house, like organizing stuff. But yeah, that's kind of like what I've been doing. But
You said something about like you're very risk averse 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Do you think, especially since everybody here is basically Asian, do you think that your upbringing and your like parental pressure basically kind of feeds into that, you know, like I'm scared to fail. I have to like do this. I have to be secure.
Yeah, for sure. I think like, so part of that stuff is not like taught to me. I would say like my parents never sat down and talked to me and was like, this is what you need to do. A lot of it was like watching them when I grew up, right? My parents worked extremely hard. Like they owned a restaurant, so like open to close every single day. Like my sister and I spent a lot of time alone, and my sister was also like a very, very driven, I would say probably more so than I was. And I kind of like followed her footsteps, but also like seeing how hard my parents work, I didn't want to put that to waste, right? So I was like focused on making sure that I could take care of them, you know, when they were retired, stuff like that. So, but yeah, I definitely think that's like brought upon by like culture and your upbringing, right? And then just like personally, like those are things I wanted for myself too. Like I envisioned how I wanted my life to be. At some point, I didn't want to worry about like living paycheck to paycheck. I didn't want to like save up to spend money. I wanted to do what I wanted to do, and I wanted like freedom to do that. So that's kind of like the direction I kind of, you know, naturally like chose.
So what's next?
Man, I wish I knew. I'm like kind of like soft looking for jobs right now. I'm not really in a rush, but I probably at some point will work.
Do you think you will do like maybe jump into a different career? Because you know there's a lot of people who like in their 30s just do something completely different.
Yeah. That one's kind of tough. I guess like I'm trying to figure that out too. Like aside from like looking for another job, I'm looking for, or I guess like trying to make a decision on like, do I transition away from doing something that makes money to doing something that makes me happy? Is there like a middle ground? And I don't really know what that is yet. But I do feel like I'm thinking about it because when I think about the life that I had working the way I was working, I don't know that I would want to do that again. Like when I am on LinkedIn looking at jobs and they have like similar descriptions to the stuff I was doing, I was like, man, there's like trauma from that, right? I don't want to go back, right? So yeah, it's kind of tough to kind of decide what I want to do, but there's also good balance, right? Like what am I willing to sacrifice to do something that I enjoy? Right?
Okay. I have a question for everybody here. So you're talking about balance, right?
Yeah.
Let's say in this perfect world, say everybody got paid the exact same salary. Okay. Everybody's salary, no matter what you do. We'll say.
So communism.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically.
Okay.
It's communist.
And that's communism?
I think
Yes.
so, yeah, pretty much.
The state.
I mean, generally.
Yeah, the state.
Oh, okay.
belongs to
Okay.
everyone.
Okay. We'll say everybody makes 100,000. No matter what you do, if you're a doctor, you make 100,000. If you're a janitor, you make 100,000. Ladies first. What would you be? You could be anything you want. Anything. Say you're 20 years old. You can go back to school. You could do whatever you want.
I don't know. Like off the top of my head, I think it'd be really cool to like coach flag football.
Okay.
Like that's like up and coming. That's like this is not me like thinking too hard about it, but like it seems like really fun, right? We did some of it when we were a little bit younger with like Mason, but it's like it's cool because it goes beyond like the sport and stuff like that. But you also get to like work with people that are like, I don't know if impressionable is the right word, but you kind of help like build and help these people grow as people.
Okay.
But that sounds, it's like fun, right? I'm not like sitting behind a laptop or a computer and like doing stuff. I get to like hang out with like kids.
Okay. So you want to be like, you're already the rave mom. So you just want to continue. You're rave mom and everything.
I just want to mom everyone, right?
You just want to mom everyone.
I do.
All right. What about you, Gabby?
Probably more recently, I probably want to be a pilot. I just think the idea of flying around would be really cool. You don't really have to talk to a lot of people, which is ideal to me. But you get to like, I don't know, face the experiences of like taking off every time. So, I mean, it's not super hard to me once you go through the training, maybe going through a storm at most, but I think that'd just be a really cool job.
It's not too late to, transition over. Wait, I heard that like you have to have like perfect vision to be a pilot, right?
That's Air Force.
That's Air Force?
I was going to say, I actually do have perfect vision. Yeah.
I'm jealous.
So you should be a pilot.
You should be definitely
Do
be
it.
a pilot.
Do it side time, part time. I'm sorry, not part time. Like train on the side.
Side hustle.
Yeah, side hustles are trying
Do a
to
bunch
do
of
that.
private
Maybe
flights.
a private pilot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, private.
Private
Fly
flights.
So I'll be like,
private
hey
jets.
guys, you want to get in my plane?
Yeah. People will like flame you about like, environmental
Yeah, I don't care.
I actually since you're a woman, I actually heard that I think this was like in Asia. You know how like Asian, East Asian, like all the way like China, Korea, they have like specific airlines. A lot of their, they're very, very selective about their flight attendants.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be tall. They have to be beautiful. I hear that those type of girls, after they finish their careers, have trouble like in pregnancy because all the altitude change kind of messes up with your female reproductive
It's
stuff.
stressful.
Oh, that's interesting.
Flying is very stressful.
Yeah,
on your
I heard
body.
that like it could like mess up it makes you like non-fertile or something. I don't know if it's true or not, but I think I heard it somewhere.
Oh, that's interesting.
but-
I've never heard of that.
It's not an end all be all because our cousin was like 37 and she was a flight attendant. And she has 2 kids. We know.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're right.
She has 2 kids.
Like someone could fact check me. That's just what I heard.
yeah.
All right, that's what I heard. All right, hack.
This is a tough question. I mean, obviously it's something that I've definitely thought about like growing up, for sure, right? I feel like at some point I wanted to be a teacher, but it doesn't pay enough. So obviously I'm never gonna.
Everybody's get paid the same though.
Oh yeah. So we're communists, and I'll be a teacher or a janitor because it's easier than being a doctor. No one's gonna want to be a doctor. If you're doing the same amount of work. as a
That's
janitor,
true.
That's why communism doesn't work, right? But that's a whole different topic.
But there are some people who actually like want to be a doctor. Just like my cousin, like they want to be a doctor because they like being doctors. What's also I think that like it's kind of an ego flex of his mental fortitude. He's always like, I'm a doctor and I'm smarter than you.
Would
It's
it
like a
be
status symbol.
Would it be just as expensive to go through the schooling, or is that something that you
We'll say
looking deeper into?
everything's
No,
equalized.
government will pay for it if it's communism, right? But the thing is, like, I think generally the way it would work is you would have to like bust your ass through school. I mean, you know how med school is not easy.
Oh yeah,
You're, like, studying
my
for,
sister
like-
did it.
Yeah, imagine if you didn't have to go through 8 years of college and you could just be like, yo, I get paid the same now.
We'll create a utopian society where basically you go to a slot machine, you basically go, I want this, bing, and that's what you are.
They just download the info into your brain.
Yes. Like some sci-fi joint. So
I
teacher.
would be a surgeon then. Well, you skipped that part.
Okay, so
you'd be a
okay,
surgeon?
I wrap
Yeah,
it
brain
back. All right, so you'd be a surgeon, a brain surgeon.
Yeah.
So you one of them.
If I was able to just automatically not have to go to school, just download the information, I think that would be one of the coolest jobs to have.
You said a bird surgeon?
A brain surgeon.
Brain.
I thought you said bird
Birds.
You'll be fine.
Saving birds one day at a time.
You said teacher. What would you teach?
Honestly, it probably doesn't matter what I taught. I think I teach a lot of things, but I think teaching is important because it's not the stuff that you teach, but it's more so the interaction with like the person at a certain age. You can definitely influence them like in a way that sticks with them.
You
know
and
what I
Karen might as well open your own school then.
Honestly, yeah.
Hey Karen, since you want to coach, there's just a little advice. Maybe you could take it, you can leave it. So recently, in the last year or two, like professional football has been incorporating more female coaches in. Maybe you should start looking into that. Maybe you can like intern for the Commanders. Start off as like what are they called? What are they called?
Personnel directors and stuff, like those personnel assistants.
They're like defensive assistants. So they basically just help the coaches. And like later on, after a couple of years, they develop their knowledge and stuff. They actually become real positional coaches and move their way up. And I think one woman is like, she's like almost a defensive coordinator now.
Yeah, so we actually know her. She was a defensive coordinator for San Francisco, I think, or something like that. So she played in the league that we played, or in the tournaments that we played in. So we met her a couple times. Her sister coaches like the youth league for the U.S. like national team or something like that. But yeah, it's actually like it's really really cool. Aside from that, they're now like picking up like women's flag football in like high schools and colleges now.
You could do. I mean, you could do it.
Why don't you just try to do it?
Why don't you try it at Mason or something?
I don't know if I would care as much about professional sports.
Oh, because it's like a whole bunch of dudes.
Yeah, or I don't know. I guess like it's different. Like there's things to teach people. I mean, they'll probably be teaching me more shit than stuff that I'm teaching them, right? Like they're professional athletes and stuff like that. I think like working with like younger kids, like teenagers, like people in their younger. I think I just like I don't know. I probably vibe better with them and probably have some type of like relatable things that I can like talk to them about. And
What about youth league?
yeah, that'd be cool.
Pee Wee. Just try it.
No, that would frustrate me.
Deion Sanders said something like that too. They asked him like, is he ever gonna go coach in the NFL? He's like, no, I don't want to coach grown men like that because once you get, I think he said something. It's either him or someone else said, once you get paid to do something, you're not gonna listen to me anymore.
But
it's
true,
hard.
right?
Versus like if you're in college, he's basically the authoritative figure.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier for him to teach. I guess that's like the key point of being like a coach is you're molding the youth, I guess. Not molding, but you're influencing them in a good way.
Yeah.
So
what about you, Jay? What's your dream? What you, in this communist society, what are you?
I think it'd be something to do with like clothes. Something to do with clothes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
I'll be a baker. I just want to bake. Make some sweets.
Yeah.
I want to be that guy in the cartoon with the chef hat and the.
Hey, it's been a minute since you made some baked
the
goods.
pie.
I
Man,
mean, there was a time in your life where you really did that stuff. And
Yeah, but it's just take a lot of time.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of time to like. I was up in here slaving. I asked our brother, like, I was after work. I'm over here 6 o'clock until 10 o'clock, just slaving away. Saturday up at 6 a.m. baking until like 12 o'clock.
You know what's crazy is that people asked if you made the bread, and recently, because I've been watching so many croissant TikToks, I saw how they make the bread or the puff. What's it?
Laminated dough.
The laminated dough, whatever. That takes so long.
3 days.
Oh my gosh! I was like,
you gotta put the butter block in there, then roll it, laminate it, roll it again.
yes. And I was like, oh my God.
Let's transition to our first topic of the day. How has the dating scene changed in the last decade or two? Hack, you can go first.
Me?
How, in your perspective,
I'm the oldest one here.
Well, it's not only that, it's that you and like Karen and Gabby, you guys hang around like so many people of different generations, like people in your generation, people in my generation, and the younger generation. So you guys get like a front row, like literally at the rails at the festival view of how the dating scene has changed throughout the last like 10, 20 years.
Let me think. I guess we can zoom out really far. Okay, for sure, there was a time when like online dating was like weird, or like meeting someone on an app was weird. I don't know if you guys remember that, but like there was a time like when you brought someone home that you met from like OkCupid or Tinder, you like, oh yeah, we met at the park or some shit, or we met at the bookstore, right?
Yeah.
And it was like one of those things where like, and that was like probably like 10 years ago. But then eventually it kind of like evened out because a lot more people started using it, and then people were like, oh yeah, we just met on. I don't know what the apps people use now, Bumble or whatever the fuck.
I think most people use Hinge now.
People use Hinge. Celebrities use Raya, and then there's like other ones.
There's Grindr for like, and there's but I think Tinder now is strictly used for just hookups. But I heard that it's really still popular in like colleges.
I think it's like really popular internationally. I think that's like the app. I think Tinder's the app.
Really?
I think in Asia. I could be making that up. I was fact checking.
I know there's strictly Asian one. I think it's like East meets East or something like that.
Coffee meets bagel.
Is it called?
It's
I think there's
Coffee
one
Meets Bagel.
specific. It's called East meets East.
Yeah, I've
There
seen
is
that
one. Yeah, there is one.
they probably got one for everything, right?
Yeah.
So okay, so that's a major thing that changed for sure. Like that became like more okay, and I think the reason that okay, so I guess from a guy perspective, like depending on like what you're okay, so if you're like a certain like height or a certain look, I do think if like online dating was like the place where most people meet nowadays, then I'm sure it changes a lot based on that. Obviously certain heights and certain like looks like do better on those. And so almost like in my opinion, maybe even like the rich got richer in a way. You know what I mean? Like if I don't know if you guys use the dating apps, but you guys probably
I do.
Be doing better than someone that's like 6 inches shorter.
I don't know. I got some friends who weren't 6 foot who did better than me.
Yeah.
They be just going crazy with it. I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I've had it for 6 years, and then like I still don't got no girlfriend.
I don't know if that's an app issue or a Jesse issue.
Sounds like a user
Which app you using?
error.
Tinder or what?
I don't use Tinder. I used Tinder for like a month, then I realized it's not for me because, and then so like I use Bumble, and then like Bumble's like the girl has to make the first move, but then like usually you just get ghosted on it. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna delete this. So I used that for a month, then I used Bumble for a month, and then I've been on Hinge ever since.
Yeah, so I think there's the online dating thing changed because of that for sure. Not really sure how. I never like. I feel like I went on like maybe 2 dates on OkCupid a long time ago, and it was kind of weird. Like it was one of those like first date type things. And I'm like, oh fuck, like But I always do coffee dates so I could like bounce if it's like.
You don't do dinner dates?
You start with coffee because it's like low commitment, right?
Yeah.
And if they're cool, then you're like, yo, you want to grab dinner like later or whatever. But if you start with dinner,
it's too serious.
Yeah, and like, what if they suck? And you're like, oh.
You're stuck for an hour.
One thing I've noticed about like, I guess like 10 years ago versus like now is that people don't like pressure. So like, if you lead off and say, let's get dinner, it's like, oh no, that's a little too much pressure. Like they want it more like casual. Whereas like 10 years ago, it was so easy to just be like, hey, you just want to go get dinner sometime? It's like no pressure. Now people just like, I don't know. People are so afraid of commitment now. People are afraid of like that label. Whatever. It's like I think that there's like they say people don't even ask people to be girlfriend or boyfriends anymore. It's just like, oh yeah, you're my boyfriend or you're my girlfriend now, right? So I don't know. So that's like a big thing, like the whole label stuff. And I agree with you. I think the coffee's something more casual. But then, like for me personally, it depends on the person.
Yeah.
But y'all.
Well, I was actually going to say that about the commitment situation. I just feel like it's a lot easier nowadays to just ghost someone. And the idea of getting ghosted, I feel like it's what put fear in most people. So then it's almost like they're trying to ghost the other one first.
You know what? I think you're right.
Yeah. No, I hear that.
What about you?
Man, I feel like the dating scene has changed a lot, right? You're talking about like how apps are like a thing now. But also I think like people have changed. The way in which they like meet people have changed, right? And part of that is like the app thing, but also like people are more, I don't know if like woke to themselves is the right word, but people are meeting people and they're like saying stuff like, oh, we don't have the same love languages, It's not gonna work out, right? Like if you think about like dating in the past, we're like, oh, is this dude attractive? Do I like this person? Do I enjoy spending time with this person? And then maybe that's like a younger mentality, and maybe this has always been a thing for adults to think a little bit deeper into like the type of people you date. But yeah, I just think it's gotten like different, and because you have such a like wide selection and like a huge like net you can cast, I feel like you have so many people to compare against each other that it almost gives you like an overwhelming feeling of like who's the right choice for me for whatever reason, right? And then it just like becomes this big like stressful mess, and then you're just kind of like, I'm gonna hang out here.
I was gonna piggyback off what Hack and Karen actually said. Well, actually, what all three of them said. I'll start with Hack. He mentioned like it's a little different now because, like, how you mentioned like, oh, and also what you said, like people don't like commitment now. But back in the day, you didn't meet people online. So the first time you meet someone to ask them out to dinner, quote unquote, you already talked to them for like 30 minutes or something like that. So that's like the coffee date, quote unquote. So then you're like, oh yeah, you want to get dinner in a bit or something like that. And you're most likely weren't drunk. You're probably sober when you're talking to this person. You know what I mean? So it's different. And then so it's a little more different in that aspect. And then you mentioned the ghosting thing. As someone who ghosted people a lot, I can agree with that 100%. But it's because when someone is hurt, they don't want to get hurt. So they don't, like you said, they'll ghost someone because they don't want to be hurt. Which I feel like that's just something. I don't think that's our generation versus old. Maybe it is. I think it's just being young.
All right, since you're talking about young, and you guys, and Karen, you brought it up. How do you think that dating as you get older changes? Like your goals, what do you look for?
So I guess like personal opinion for me, like I kind of like mentioned before, when you first start dating when you're younger, you're looking at relatively superficial things, right? Like how they look, if you enjoy spending time with them and stuff like that, right? Like, and when you get older, you actually, I guess this is not everyone, but I guess like me personally, when I think about it, I think much like I have to be more like forward thinking, if that makes sense, right? I think about, oh, this person got like some savings, right? Is this person, are we going to be good when we retire? Like I don't want to move backwards, right? I know like what I put into like my life and what I want to be able to offer to someone else, right? A partner. And I would hope that they're probably like positioned kind of in the same way. I guess depending on the person, you're probably willing to struggle, you know, a little bit. But I think the things that you look for in a person when you get older is like a little bit different, right? I definitely have a lot of friends that are kind of like love conquers all type of people, right? Like if there's like problem in their relationship or, you know, hardship or whatever, they're kind of like, it doesn't matter, right? We love each other, so it'll work out, right? And I love that. I think that's beautiful. And I think I'm a little bit like more realistic than idealistic. So like I do look for someone who has like compatible like love languages, right? Like similar, not just interests, right? But like similar like goals, right? And drive and like aspirations, right? Or things like that. Because I think love is like a small fraction of what it takes for like a successful relationship. And I don't know if that's like popular thought, but like for me, I feel like there are like a lot of different things outside of like liking someone that kind of like makes it work for me at least.
I 100% agree with you. I think that I think love is a byproduct of respect and loyalty and like devotion. Not devotion is a bad word.
Yeah.
Devotion is a bad word. No. I think that like when you respect somebody, you're compatible with somebody. Because I feel that like with love, it kind of like dwindles. Like it might like in the beginning, it's like crazy. It's like, oh my God, I love this person. Right. Like butterflies. And then after a while, it kind of dies down. But if you have that respect, mutual respect for somebody, you can always build it back up because people are always changing. Like who you are 5 years ago, 10 years ago is completely different. But if you've been dating somebody for like 10 years, days change, you change, so you grew together.
Yeah.
You know, you just constantly, I think so, somebody told me like you have to constantly fall in love with your partner over and over and over again. Right?
I got a question for Karen, actually. You mentioned like you're not about the love conquers all thing. Some people say like, you know, the love language stuff, the compatibility, all that stuff. They were like, that stuff all works as long as people work. Does that make sense? Like, as long as people put work into the relationship, it will work regardless of what people's love language is. Like, just you mentioned, like, you have to fall in love. People say you have to fall in love with someone over and over again. Jay Shetty says, he said, love is a choice. You have to wake up and choose to love your partner or whatever. Like, I'm single, so I don't know what that is, but that's what they say. So what do you think about that? You're like, no, you still need to have a savings.
No, I totally agree with you. The savings part is important, guys. Okay, but no, I 100% get what you're saying, and I agree. Like, you can have it all, in my opinion, right? And you can be different and have it all, but if your partner has to be mindful enough, right? If I'm like, hey, this is what I need, and you are mindful of that, I don't need someone to change as a person to fit my life. But I do think mindfulness is important for it to work out, right? Because if I'm X and you're Y, and you give me this and I give you this, sometimes you just kind of like, your relationship, your conversation like kind of go past each other, right? I think it takes like a certain type of work to like communicate in a way that makes sense, right? And is gonna help you solve issues, right? To like thug it together when shit is hard. But it's definitely possible, and I think that like that kind of like tips the balance, right? And it makes it easier. So I do think that you can have it all. And I think it's not all about the savings.
I'm just saying, there's people out there, they're like, no, like some people that we know that are very close to us. They think just love conquers all and everything will just be hunky-dory. I'm like, what about that? But they don't got no savings, so that's what I feel.
So
that's why I agree with you on that aspect.
It could also be an inheritance or something. It's not all about that, but I think like being on the same level or like in agreement to where you guys want to be, and because I think you said this, Jesse, like you're always evolving, right? And I think so long as you know that you guys are evolving in the same place, you're kind of doing that together, right? In some type of alignment.
Gabby, yes, I'm saying.
Well, yeah, actually, Jesse and I are very, very different. We're almost opposites in our love languages, and we did have issues with that in the beginning of our relationship, where like, even though I'm not like this with my friends, physical touch is my number one with my partner, and he's not. So when he wouldn't cuddle me, I'm like, oh God, he hates me. Like, I don't understand. Where his is probably more like acts of services or gift giving, and I don't really care for that as much. And so we would really have to kind of come to an agreement of how much he needs to give me for me to feel like, okay, like I understand where you're coming from, where like I also had to understand he doesn't really like physical touch. So I can't, it was really trying to find a balance between us two. So
Question. When you say, so yours is physical touch. So you want to be cuddled and stuff like that. But do you give physical touch a lot too? Because I feel that from my observation, I feel that everybody's love languages, like the way you give and the way you receive is completely different. Like I base it off of like parental upbringing. Like the way that my mom, my dad gave me love as a kid is how I receive love. And what I crave is what I didn't get. So like, okay, sorry, let me phrase that. How my parents gave me love is how I give others love. What they lacked and did not give me enough of is what I crave and is my love language. For example, my mom, this is a typical Asian thing, right? When you love somebody, you feed them. You give them all the food in the world. Oh, you like eating this? I'm gonna go buy 20 of them, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that's how I give love, right? Acts of service. But what did I not get as a kid? You know, typical Asian parents, Tiger, you never see your parents kiss. You never see your parents give you a hug. You never see that stuff. So physical touch is really high up there. Quality time, bro. Parents are always working. They in the restaurant working their ass off. Never got quality time, never got physical touch. That's why I value those at such a high level. But when it comes to when I have a partner, it's like I do things for them. I'm always there for them. And I try to be like acts of service and like, but what is it? Words of affirmation. That's not something I ever got as a kid, nor did they ever show that. So like for me, like words of affirmation is not high at all in the way I give or receive.
So I think I'm a little different in that. My parents were, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my dad was the one that worked, but they were very lovey-dovey, all up in our faces, 24/7. I think physical touch is just something that, like, really bonds me with someone because I don't like doing it with my friends that much. I mean, I rarely hug Karen, and Karen's my best friend, so.
That's not true. I force it on her regularly.
And I'm just like, oh God. But I don't know. It's just something, or quality time too. Like I quality time is like a tricky thing. Like quality time to me is just like spending time in the same room with someone. It doesn't necessarily mean doing stuff together. That's how I'm just like, yeah, seriously, when I tell Karen I'm going to come over, like sometimes we don't even talk. I'm just put on anime on the TV and then she's working. But I just think that, oh yeah, we hung out today.
You like her presence.
Yeah, I like the presence, of it. And that's to me as equal as physical touch for me and Jesse.
Okay. So Karen got that addictive, like, energy that you just feed off of.
Yes.
We do this
Crave
thing
it.
called like parallel hanging out, where we're just like doing separate things but in the same space, and that's good for us.
Hey, Hack, I know me and you have had a discussion about this a long time ago. I don't know if you remember, but it's funny how like when you, not to make this a sexist thing, but it's funny how like when women talk about it, it's like they have to be like an equal and stuff like that. And we had this discussion before where I used to think the exact same way. We're like, oh, I want a girl to be like this. I want to be a girl like this. And then your exact words were, bro, as you get older, none of that matters.
Sounds like hack.
Do you remember telling me that?
I don't remember that conversation.
That also sounds like hack.
we were probably at Echo Stage, and we were probably drunk. So in my defense,
I know the exact word. It was basically I said that when I find like a partner, one thing that my mom told me and I've always kept is like the girl has to be educated because it shows that they're willing to go through like a 4-year anniversary, 4-year university and like finish something. But then I never told you this, but I actually took that, like you said, that doesn't matter when you get older. And I actually took that to heart, and now that's no longer like a preference of mine. Because you said that as long as they're a good person and they're willing to show that, like, okay, they may not want to go to school, but that may not be the path they want to take, but it shows that they're actually doing something else with their life. then it's basically the same thing because maybe school wasn't for them. So I'll let you know that I really took your words to heart there.
No, dude, I appreciate that. Yeah, I do definitely mean what I said for sure, because I think when I was at one point in my life, I definitely like agree with your statement. Okay, somebody definitely has to go to school 4 years at least. It's like a bare minimum stuff, right? But these are all like, they're almost like specs that you put out there. Okay, like I need, like if you went car shopping, you would be like, okay, let's say I want a red car. It needs to go 60 miles and like 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. I also need leather seats or whatever. Like these are the specs you think that you want in your car. But going car shopping is not the same thing as like finding a partner. You know what I mean? A lot of times you don't know what you're gonna like until you see it. Like you might end up, I mean, Gabby's like, yo, Jesse's like the exact opposite of me. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, and honestly, the relationships I've had where the person has been the exact opposite, where I'm like, there's no way, like, you know, fell for this person.
Yeah.
Like, those have been like the most fun, right? There is something to be said about relationships where you and the other person are similar and you guys have similar strengths, right? I don't think that I don't think one or the other is better, but like, I don't know. Going back to what you were saying about, I mean, is the person a good person or not is a much more important question in my mind.
Yeah, because it's like I said, that conversation we had, we were both inebriated. That's facts. but like it really resonated because I was just talking with Gabby and Karen before you got here. I was like, me and Hack always have these deep ass conversations. Back in soundcheck or Echo Stage, like, why are we having this conversation right now? But now, like, it was like you changed my mind on that because before I was like, I had to have this, and this, and they're like deal breakers if they ain't there. But now it's gone to the point where it's like it's okay. It's like as long as I have this and the rest is like negotiable. The main thing is that they're a good person, and like actually, I don't mind even saying it. It's like preference. I prefer tall women, right? And the thing is, okay, my reasoning for why I prefer tall women is not what people think it is. It's a very unselfish reason. I want my son to be 6 foot. All right, so I want a tall woman. That's a probability factor that my son's gonna be tall, right? And then the thing that you said, like I used to say you gotta be educated. I don't really care no more. As long as they have like something going with their life and they're passionate about something and they're like, whether they got a business or whatever, or anything they want. Like Karen, like you say you're in full employment now. You don't know what your future is, but you want to do something that you're passionate about. You know, I just want to see that a woman's like passionate about something, right? And not like, I don't really like needy girls, so if they're not passionate about something, they're probably gonna be like all over my stuff, disrupting my peace and stuff like that. That's the way I see it, right? And then like just a good person, just someone that's a good person, that like a nice person, treat people good, someone that I know that's gonna be a good like mother to my children. That's basically it.
Dang, so you're telling me Hack's words are what changed your mind?
Yes.
Because Jesse is, when my mom and dad asked me, like, oh, why do you think Jesse hasn't like settled down yet? My mom was like, I think he might be too picky. And that was literally what they said for the longest time until recently. You're like, Mom, I'm not picky. I just want these 2 things really. And that's it.
Yeah.
So
I changed my...
You should be picky though. You should be picky though.
Yeah.
And for sure, I'm not saying that there aren't any like prerequisites that, like, I mean, good person is definitely like, okay, like I need that one.
Yeah.
That one's like but I'm saying like a lot of the other stuff, like, I don't know, man, like, it's not the same, like when you, I don't know like how it works when you like, you know, start to like someone, but you don't sometimes get to pick who you like and who you know.
Yo, honestly, that's actually like real talk because so I'm like religious, right? And then I believe that sometimes who you get is not who you think you're gonna get. So if you like put too many labels and too many deal breakers on it, maybe this perfect person comes to your life and you knock them for one thing, and it's like, dang, why'd you knock them off for that one thing when y'all could have been great together? So I try to be like a little more lenient about it. So
I can agree with that.
Are we still talking about the savings part?
savings part.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I mean,
No, I'm
does a
kidding.
girl have to have a savings? I mean, I'm Chinese. Of course she has to have a savings.
Wait, let me ask you. For y'all 2 savings people, what if someone has everything, but they just don't have a savings?
She could build a savings.
I hope they have an accelerated path to a savings, really, right? Like, no,
just-
I'm kidding. I don't mean it's.
I'm just messing with you.
That's just off the top, you know, like casual things.
What's y'all's deal breakers? Hack and start.
I can start, yeah.
I mean, I probably have I'm sure I could come up with a whole list of them for sure.
Give me two.
I mean, there's definitely like some red flags, like, you know, type of stuff where you take someone on a date and they're like mean to the waiter or some shit.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
that's an easy, like, all right, don't do that. Let me think what else.
Don't do that.
Okay, I think, okay, in talking with the theme of, okay, like how has dating changed, you know, as you get older, one thing for me is as I get older, and I've always felt this way, but as I've gotten older, I know I want kids, right? And I think that's changed for sure in the last 10 years because a lot of people nowadays, more people nowadays don't want kids, you know, going into like their third, like, yo, I'm never gonna have kids. Like a lot of my friends are like, or not a lot, but like, definitely proportionally more people of my friends are like, yo, I'm never gonna have kids than I thought, you know, in my 20s would have said that. If that makes any sense. And I don't know if you guys have friends that, you know, have decided that or not.
There's been like, I've been on like hinge dates with like a girl or two, and like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm uncorked. I'm not scared to ask those type of questions. And like, especially if they're more serious, I'll ask them that, and they're like, "Oh, I don't want no kids." I'll be like, "All right, I'm done." And I said, "Listen, I actually want kids later, so I don't think this is a compatibility issue." So I agree. I understand.
Yeah. So for me, that would be like I guess like deal breaker. It's like your ultimate life goal. Like, and their ultimate life goal is literally just like not gonna. And as you get older, that becomes more of a thing. Because, you know, in my 20s, you know, I always knew I wanted to have kids, but, you know, I'm not going to, like, if I'm 25, I'm probably not thinking about it when I'm, like, going on a date or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm, like, you know, in my later 30s and stuff like that. And I know women do have more of a clock, so, you know, it would be interesting, you know, what Karen and Gabby think about, like, the kids thing, because obviously women know they have, you know, they have to have kids by a certain age and things like that. But even for me, like, my clock right now is my parents are a certain age, and they're still, like, decently healthy, right? Like, you know, they're like in their upper 60s. But once you get up to that age, you never know how long until, you know, how many more good years you have, right? Obviously, I don't know how close you guys are to your parents. I'm very close to my parents. And so if I ever have kids, I assume that my relationship with my kids might be some of the best relationships I ever have in my life. I want them to meet the other best relationships I've had in my life, which are my parents, when they still have, you know, like the years and the energy to like actually play with them. Not like, oh, this is grandpa and he's like, you know, chilling in a wheelchair and stuff, you know.
Low key, I actually had this exact same conversation with my brother, and I said that like I'm in my 30s. Gabby, I know you want to talk. I'm gonna let you talk next, okay? I can see you want to talk, but I just want to say this one thing. I agree with you 100%. And I told my brother this, like, I'm 32, right? But I'm already starting to think that same exact way. Like, I don't want kids now, but if it were to happen, I wouldn't be opposed to it, you know? And that's the exact same reason my dad he's 65 next year. And I think the exact same thing is like, if I wait too long, my kids will never ever meet like the most important like male figure in my life, which is my dad and my mom. And I don't want my kids to ever not know my parents because they're like, you know, exactly what you said. Right. So I feel you on that 100%. That's a big thing for me too. So, okay, all right, Gabby. I know you want to speak over there.
It was just funny. It was just funny because his deal breaker is someone who doesn't want kids, but my deal breaker is someone who wants kids. Like, I do not want kids. Like, I'm very uninterested in them. I mean, I'm very good with them. Everyone always tells me I would be a great parent, and I know I would be. I just think that I'm selfish in that aspect, that I don't want to give up the lifestyle that I'm currently living. But it's tough because, yeah, women do have that clock. And what if down the road, I mean, I'm only 29, so what if I change my mind in 3 years or in 5 years and I regret it? Like, those are always things that I question. But when I go into a relationship, I tell them I do not want kids because I don't want them holding on to the hope that I'm going to change my mind, when as of this moment, I'm very sure I will not. But you never know.
Start freezing them eggs in case you change your mind.
Yeah, but it's like money. I'm like, dang, I spent this money on these eggs that I don't even want.
You know how much it costs to freeze your eggs?
I think it's like 30 grand to freeze
Some
your
companies
eggs.
actually help, but I don't know. I haven't looked into it because I'm so uninterested.
What percentage would you put on you having a kid in this lifetime?
Oh my God. It would have to be accidental.
Wow.
Okay,
I'm serious.
so you think-
Don't think I will ever be like, yeah, you know what? I want a child.
You better,
You think
you
0% unless it's accidental?
better tell
0%.
Jesse start poking
Jesse
holes.
knows.
Start poking holes in them.
I always ask him, I'm like, are you sad about it? He's like, a little, but it ultimately is your decision, which is, gives me like even more respect for him. Like, he's not forcing it upon me or making me feel bad about it. Like, he's very much like, your body, your life.
I got a question. All right, so last month I talked to Caitlin and Tiff, and they opened the world to me about what is it? What's the term? The relationship that Caitlin had.
Oh, polyamory.
Polyamory. Okay. So you say you don't want kids, right? What if? So Jesse, say hypothetically, you know where this is going.
I know exactly what you're about to say.
Okay.
Jesse.
It's just a question. I want your opinion on it. So you don't want kids. So whatever. And Jesse said, listen, Gabby, I really want kids. So he said, is it okay if I have kids with like another woman? Because you don't want to have kids, and I'm not gonna put you through that. But if I find another one who's willing to give me kids, would you let him do that? Hypothetically. Don't get no ideas.
I think just no.
No?
No, I don't think I would be able to look past it.
Okay.
I know he would be such a good dad too, and that's also why I feel bad. Like I see the way he hangs out even with my sister's kids. He's really good with them and they like him, and I know that like in his friend group, like he's like the fun uncle, but I just don't think it's an 18-year commitment, and I don't want to half-ass it if I have a child. Like I want to be as good of a parent as my parents are to me, because I think I have literally the greatest parents in the world.
Okay. I just wanted to ask, it was just a hypothetical world, you know what I'm saying? What's your deal breakers?
Okay, so I won't belabor like the children situation. I probably have like similar like thoughts as you and Hack do on kind of like the baby situation. I want kids, so I probably have to have some type of parameters around how long I can wait. You know, if I'm in a relationship or if I'm meeting someone. But I think a few other things that I would look for that are deal breakers is probably like one, like honesty, right? I think breaking trust is a challenging thing because it's really, really hard to undo something like that. So I think something like that's probably like a red flag for me. That's like a black flag. That's like in your face. That's like probably like depending on what it is. And then probably just like some humility. Like I hate arrogance. I don't like respect that. It doesn't make me think any like greater of a person or anything like that. But yeah, those are just like kind of like personal, I guess like attributes of a person. I think that would be like deal breakers for me.
You don't want a whole soccer team. You know, you could have a whole soccer team of kids. And
I wouldn't be. Man, I probably missed that boat if I want a whole soccer team. But I do
start freezing them
want
eggs.
to like with my friends put together a soccer team.
Just
I would love with my friends' kids. Well, and my kids, right? Like I definitely could not field an 8-person team, or what soccer's even worse.
You
like
never
9
know.
Or 11.
11.
No.
Yeah, 11
Yo,
people on the
Gabby, if we're
field.
making a soccer team, we need your genetics. in
You
that
would.
joint.
Yeah,
No,
we-
I just want to be the drunk aunt all the time.
What
Just
if
like the
someone
fun.
just take her eggs? Okay, this is your
drawn-
child, but it's not your child.
I'm gonna pay you to carry my children because.
What if you did surrogates? What if you had like 11 surrogates?
Um,
Kim Kardashian.
I think you need some kind of break in between that still.
I
Having
think it would
11
be. I
babies.
think that would be tough. Like 11 at the same time. Can you imagine? That's like
A nightmare.
insanity.
Do you guys
My
have
nightmare.
access to kids, like an actual like niece or nephew that's like
Yes.
that you can like actually like kind of like
I love my niece.
yes
my
access to
heart.
yeah.
No, that is weird. It's like Jesse. This is how I know Jesse and I are in different stages in life. Because I see Jesse with my niece. He's like so happy and stuff. And I'm like, I'm happy to see my niece. But at the same time, I'm like, it's just a kid to me.
Even in your responses just now, Jesse was like, yes. And Jay was like, yeah.
You know, and Art, this is weird. You mentioned like the kids and no kids thing. I actually saw something recently. They said the decision for someone to actually want to have kids or not to have kids is something that's like nurtured someone into them. It's not like genetically in your brain to say I want kids. I thought it was, but someone said like no, that's something that you see and you learn by seeing.
It's a societal thing.
Yeah, it's a societal thing.
Are you the youngest?
No, I am the third of 4.
Okay, I've noticed this thing that I think that a lot of younger siblings are less like they have that less inclination to have kids. Have you ever noticed that? I've noticed a trend where the youngest child has this like, oh, I kind of don't want to have kids or stuff like that.
Do you know what my hypothesis was with that?
What?
It's because when you're the oldest or the second oldest in a family, you're seeing your mom and dad spoil, quote unquote, or nurture the youngest child. So that's kind of like ingrained in your head, like to nurture and stuff like that. Versus when you're the youngest, I don't see anyone getting nurtured but me, you know? like I think that's what it is. So that's not something that's in my brain. Like, oh, I want to nurture a kid or a child after me. Like now, am I open to it? Yeah, but am I really pressed to? No.
Okay.
Like
okay.
I didn't really think about it until like what you and Hack mentioned about, oh yeah, I would like to have my kids to see like our parents, which I agree 100%. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm also on the same boat with Gabby. He's like, well, I'm right now, I don't think I'd be the best dad in the world. So I don't know if I could do that.
This is hypothetical.
This is all hypothetical. Hypothetically speaking, okay? I'm not 30 yet, so I don't want to think about it. But yeah.
I think part of it is also like generationally, people are breaking further and further away from traditional societal norms and are like more open to doing that, which probably like explains some of why like the statistics are showing that like less and less women are like wanting to get married, right? And then there's also like other things that factor into it, like women wanting to, you know, be like senior in the roles or like more career driven and like having to take a very like serious break from doing that to have kids, right?
You're taking a break.
Yeah.
You're taking a break from those senior roles.
Taking a break from
Well, yeah,
Taking a break
and
from
then
all
when you
things.
go back, I feel like you take like 10 steps back because sometimes they're just like, oh, you needed that break. I don't know. They're kind of harsh about it, but it's expensive to have a kid, and times are tough nowadays.
It's gotta
Especially
make more
11
money.
at a time.
That's the only solution. Make
I
more
know,
money.
but then you
That
see
is
you gotta
true.
make more money, but then that means I have to get a better job. But then, you know, I feel like I think I was lucky to have a stay-at-home mom, so then that's what I would want to be. But there's no way I would be able to be a stay-at-home mom unless, like, I don't know, Jesse wins the lottery. Who knows? So I want to be like the mother figure that my mom was, but I don't think I would be.
So if Jesse wins the lottery, then you got him.
And you got him a baby.
And you're staying at home.
Keeping your mom.
I would say, yeah, maybe a stay-at-home.
Okay, so
mom.
if you could stay at home mom, then you'd be more
willing, maybe we would jump up to like 10%.
okay. Because right now you're at 0. Which
Zero.
Right now you're at 0.
But maybe like 10% stay-at-home mom life. I think that would be nice. But I also like Jesse's mom's around, like close by, and my parents are close by, so it would also be easier that if I did want to go travel or do something, then one of them would be able to watch them, and I trust them all, you know, with my life. So why wouldn't I be able to leave my baby?
Next time I see Jesse, I'm gonna be like, hey, you better start buying some freaking lottery tickets.
Keep putting it in. No.
What are you talking about, Jesse?
Yeah, no, he knows, and I mean, we're just at that point that I'm just like, not happening.
Do you guys think that going back to the kid thing or why people want to have kids later and later and later, does it also have to go hand in hand with how dating has changed in a way? Because also with dating apps, and I think you mentioned like there's so many options out there, right? Mm-hmm. But also at the same time, because of social media, you see so many, the world is huge. Like nowadays, you're like, oh, you can do this thing in this obscure country and I want to try that. So you just push it further and further back. So as you mentioned, Gabby, you're like, I don't want to have kids right now because I want to travel. I want to do this. Do you think it goes hand in hand? Because the world is so big, and not that they're just romantic options. There's options of what you can do with your life. Mm-hmm. So I'll use myself as an example. Like, oh, well, I don't want to have kids yet because I wanted to go to this country. I want to go to Italy and go to this cave that has a restaurant in it or something, yada, yada, yada. And you're like, well, if I do that, I can't have a kid because then that's expensive, yada, yada, yada. Like, you know what I mean? So do you think that plays a part of it because it's so big?
Gabby, were you born here?
Yes.
So this might not apply to you, but I've noticed that when they stay in their hometown, they tend to settle down earlier. Like if they have no aspirations to like bigger things, they tend to settle down early. Like we grew up in Chester, right?
Yes.
Have you noticed that the people who basically, the high school sweethearts who stay in Chester all got married when they're like 22, 23.
Yes.
But then the people that, oh, you're from Richmond too?
I'm from Richmond, yeah.
Yeah, so have you noticed Henrico?
Hanover.
Hanover.
Yeah.
So
I was at Patrick Henry.
this might apply to you.
Yeah.
In like smaller towns, when they
Definitely.
get like cuffed down and they settle down earlier,
Definitely.
they never leave.
Yeah.
Right?
I think
You see
Man.
what I'm getting with this, right? But then when
100%,
you
yeah.
leave,
I would
it's
say like when I left Richmond, I didn't really turn back. Like I don't have any, for the most part, like friends that I came out of high school with or like came out of college with and then remained friends with like my high school friends afterwards, right? But I will say there's a specific like socioeconomic of people that are that way, right? And I will say, yeah, they definitely got like had kids or got married very, very young, never left town. I won't make like a personal judgment on like what their aspirations were. But yeah, a lot of them stayed local to Richmond and have a very different kind of like lifestyle than I wanted. And like knowing that you probably knew that too, growing up there, right? That you didn't want to be there and you didn't want to live that life. It's a much slower life, and it's different.
Man, I told my dad was like, I live here. You better bring your tail back here after graduation. I was like, listen, the moment I leave this door and I go to college, I ain't coming back here.
Yeah.
I don't care if I have to go somewhere else and be a freaking like waiter or work for McDonald's. I'm not coming back to this town ever again in my life. I'm not coming.
I ain't coming back. I ain't coming back.
Gone.
Yeah,
But no,
I'm
like,
the same way.
Yeah. So like, and then it's like once you leave, it's like you see the world, you travel more, you see what's out there. You're like, oh man, maybe I don't want kids because I want to live this life a little longer.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's.
I
I think
think
it goes
you're right.
hand in hand, and it goes hand in hand because you're like. I guess it all stems around like how your brain. We're overly stimulated, is what some people say. Like we have so many things around us, so much stimulation. Your phone is constantly stimulating you 24/7.
Yeah.
So you're always looking for like the next best thing, and it goes. I think it goes hand in hand with the next best girl or guy, with the next best partner, the next best experience, and it's kind of like you're fighting both sides.
Okay. Since you're bringing about the social media, what do you guys think about like meeting new people in dating apps, social media, in the friend group, or just complete randos that you cold approach? What's the best way?
Preference?
Preference, or like what do you think about them, like dating in the friend circle or dating using using Instagram and IG politics, so hit him with a like, hit him with a follow, slide into the DMs.
Man, I don't think
mind
I'm
games.
I don't think I'm sophisticated enough to like do that. Like the social media thing, I don't really do that. I'm just kind of like, oh, I like this, right? There's no like hidden agenda to any message I send or comment or anything like that.
Yeah. So
man,
you be
I think
sliding them DMs, huh?
not really, not in a non-friendly way. You know what I mean? I just like don't have that energy. But I do think that it's really hard sometimes to date in the friend group, especially in like our Asian community, right? Everyone kind of knows each other, right? Everyone also kind of knows everyone's like history with everyone else, right? Which makes it challenging, right? Because part of it's like bro code, girl code, right? And then the other part is like, well, who they slept with or they dated or like, just everything about everyone, right? That's just kind of our community is. So it's hard. But there's something to be said about like developing a friendship with someone before you date them. Because I do think that is like most seamless and like comfortable for me. I've done the dating app thing and I would say like obviously I'm single, right? So like all like very, very unsuccessful, but also like some like terrible ones, right?
Same boat.
Yeah,
I
I'm
feel
like
you.
false advertisement. I met up with this guy. I was like, you don't even look like that anymore. Or okay, get past the look thing, but like even then I was just kind of like, what?
Yeah, you and Jesse are on the same boat with that.
I get catfish 90% of the time.
I mean, it wasn't
Ain't even lying.
I wasn't catfish in a way that it wasn't the same person, but it was like, bro.
He was a couple. Wait, was he just a lot bigger?
In his photo he had hair. Okay. in reality, when I met with him, no longer had much hair, right? Also, like he's just like, I guess like I was not paying it. I mean, I don't know. Those photos were probably from like 10 years ago. But just like
sounds like he hasn't been taking care of himself.
Yeah, and like I don't really care about like the who pays for dinner type of thing, right? I don't really care. I really don't care, right? But like asking to go halvesies on a like pho dinner is like weird to me.
It's because you're traditional.
Well, I ended up picking up the bill because I was like, that's weird that you want to split like a $10 noodle or whatever.
Dang, hey,
right?
I'm not gonna lie. If a girl freaking picked up the tab on me on like a date like that, I'll be like, I feel so like emasculated.
Yeah,
I'll be like, oh,
that's insane.
Well, I was just uncomfortable that it was like a small bill and they're like, you want to split it? And I was like, no, I'll just take it. It's just they're paying too many credit card fees already. Like, let's just not do that.
Dang.
Oh my god.
But
I feel sorry for that guy.
I felt sorry for me, and that's weird.
That's messed up. What do you mean you sorry for the guy? You
You're right.
just picked up the whole bill.
I mean, I don't care about that, but it was like, but anyways, like it was just like I had also like talked to this person for like several days before I actually went out to dinner with him, right?
Okay.
So I was just kind of like, yeah, that's weird. That's not who you are.
So what's your preference out of the three?
I like meeting people in person first. That's still my
Randos
preference.
or friend group?
I'm okay with randos if they're not like weird or like creepy, right? They're like obvious creepy vibes. But like meeting someone and they're like, oh, exchange your number and you text a little bit and then you go out and that's.
So you want to get rizzed up? You want a guy to come out and rizz you up?
I mean, it depends. I don't know, but like you think about the places we are, and you're just kind of like, man, these are like grimy places, right? We're like sound check, echo stage, festivals, right? We play a lot of sports, and you kind of like know those people, right? And so it can be like weird, but it's fine.
Gabby?
I have severe stranger danger, so I have probably been dating in my friend group since I got to college. It's always someone that I've known through a friend, or someone that, yeah, it's friends of friends. I don't think I've ever met and dated someone outside of that.
Cac, what you think?
I think I have a preference for friend group out of the three because I don't know. I feel like personally for myself, okay, I do think if it's within like friend group or even like kind of like acquaintance, like people, Asian community, it's like so small that like, I mean, your reputation kind of follows you. And I think if you have a good one, then friend group is probably like better because you don't have to, when you go on like a date on Hinge or whatever, and you literally sit down in front of this person and you have like, I don't know, like an hour to generate attraction across the table. Like, that's like hard to do and I can't do that shit. So I'm more of a low effort type of person. So I think friend group allows that. And yeah, and randoms, I wouldn't even know how to do that, honestly. That might be fun to try, but that would also take a lot of effort.
This man's like, no.
I'm literally just like
Low
whatever,
effort.
lowest effort.
You sound like you just want to attract. You should be like,
Yeah, like low hanging, like it's just kind of like
catch the low hanging fruit.
Yeah, because I don't want to like have to like run out there and like climb up a tree and then like fall down and shit and then.
Or it's like
He wants to
spoiled.
get rizzed.
That's not the
Yeah,
trial of
He
life.
wants to get rizzed.
That's not the trial he wants to take. He's like, I don't want relationship trials. Okay, I don't want that.
What do you think, Jay?
I don't mind. Maybe it's because of my youth. I think if they're attracted to me, whether or not they're on like a social dating app or in person or random, I'm like, they're cute to me. And I'll just try regardless. Like I've tried the most random ways possible. I mean, people in far and wide through like social dating apps and stuff like that. So I don't have any preference. It's more about the experience. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, once upon a time, this is a way long ago, back when, remember on Facebook, there was like, what was it called? So was this, I think it's subtle Asian dating.
Oh yeah.
Someone posted this pic of somebody. I just remember she was well endowed with some nice assets. Okay? And
Go on.
all right, her friend was advertising him, and I was like, and I'm buying. Okay? She was advertising and I was buying. So I like slid into the person's like IG DMs and like tried or whatever. And the conversation was pretty cool. I even sent her like a date resume.
Oh damn, you was doing the work that happened.
I was putting in work.
Can we clarify? What is that? What's a date?
Oh, no.
resume?
All right, backstory. It was during the time. All right, when I think I was like 22 at the time, 22, 23. So at the time, like pickup lines and stuff was kind of funny. Like those cheesy pickup lines. So I sent them, guys, you guys can take this if you want to. I don't know if it will work, but I sent a picture of like a Ferrari. And then I sent another picture of the Ferrari totaled. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I just crashed into your DMs or something like that. I crashed your DMs or something like that. And she's like, oh, wow. I was like, okay, can I like borrow your phone number so I can call like the closest like body shop or something like that? or something like that. And she was like, yeah, you can if you can give me the car afterwards. I was like, oh, I have to like transfer the deed over to you or something like that. She's like, okay. I was like, and then it evolved into something else. And then I said, oh, here's my resume just in case you need like some extra info or something like that. And it was like a resume of like my best quality traits and stuff like that. I made it in the notes app. It was really dumb. But I was like, wow. I think about it sometimes. I'm like, dang, that was a different time. So, but it was like fun. Like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun doing that. It makes it exciting,
It was probably very memorable for one. Right?
Yeah.
You and Dar both did that.
Yeah, but like,
Was it the same person?
I don't know.
no, it's different. This person was like Canadian.
Oh, okay.
I love Canadian. You know how we love Canadians, man.
I love
You know what I'm saying?
Canada. Have you ever been to Toronto?
Yeah, I love Toronto.
Yeah.
All the Cantonese people are in Toronto.
Yeah, bro. Toronto's where it's at.
Yeah.
Okay. My opinion, I think I'm opposite to y'all. I will do the dating apps, I will do social media, and I will do cold approach, the randos, but I absolutely will not do friend group. I will absolutely will not for the life of me do friend group. Basically, okay, my reasoning is I don't like to disrupt the peace. I don't want people to hate me. Okay, I don't want to cause drama. Ergo, I don't want to stir up and create like a romantic interest with somebody, and then there be like discord or whatever. That's all.
Wait, I have a question. When you say friend group and when they say friend group, are you guys saying like
Close
a
friend
friend
group.
of a
Close friend
friend,
group. Close
or
friend
you're
group.
saying like within your close friend group?
Close friend group. So close friend group, like for instance, within our friend group or anybody, like who's somebody? I'm gonna use somebody. Give me an example. Some girl friend group.
Like Christine is one of your close friends
Christine
from college, right?
Yes.
So like,
Who's somebody we all hang around with?
No, because I'm only asking that.
Who's somebody single that we all hang around with?
It's a great question.
It could be taken. Just use a hypothetical example.
All right. Why am I drawing a blank right now? All right.
no one's single anymore.
That exactly. I don't want to put us on the spot. Okay, hypothetically, there's a girl in our friend group that we all associate with, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would not talk to her. I would not even try. But if like Hack had a friend of a friend who's not really in the friend group, but like Hack's a friend with her, then I would say, all right,
Yeah.
I would try.
So like acquaintances.
I'm okay with acquaintances,
Okay.
but I won't
Okay.
do like if me and them have an established friendship, it's a no go.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah,
if
yeah.
you-
I'm with that. You with that?
If she's like in the friend group, but you're not like really friends with her, would you give her a try?
Correct. I will. So okay,
okay.
say we go to sound check for a rave, right? And then like you say, oh, I'm bringing a friend, and
Fair
I
game for
that's okay because we ain't friends, we are acquaintances. Yeah,
Okay,
that's fair
that
game.
makes sense.
Right? And then I might do a little cold approach, or if you set a boy up, you know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, I've been trying to set up a lot of my friends, and so far I'm like
I know. I'm just saying. All right,
dropping goose eggs.
all right, and then it's like that, or
Don't ask me. I'm a bad wing woman. Sorry.
No, I don't want to cause like trouble within the friend group, but I understand. Like honestly, like in the last like month or two, I've discovered that a lot of people actually end up like dating people they're really really close to. They've been friends for freaking years. Like I think it's like there's like 3 or 4 instances that I found in the last year. Like, dude, weren't y'all grew up together and like y'all together now? He says, yeah. It's like as you get older, it's harder and harder to meet people. And so you just basically start gravitating to people who are also like you're really, really familiar with. You don't got that like awkwardness, and you can just like go deeper with them. So I can't do that. Y'all braver than me. I can't do that.
Yeah,
I'll stick to the dating apps and get the failures of the dating apps, or I'll maybe find that one acquaintance that somebody knows that I don't.
Got it. Now we have it lodged in our mind and
Yeah.
logged in that that's what's happening.
Yeah,
But I think Jesse, we are kind of agree on that. Like the close friend group, I don't like doing that. But I think you're doing a good job of like making sure you're expanding your possibilities by
expand the pool.
by branching out to other friend
Yeah,
groups.
going to different friend groups.
So you're the acquaintance now.
Yeah, I'm the
So
acquaintance.
you're
now.
the acquaintance
So yeah,
of the person.
that's the key now is to make new friends and enter different friend groups.
Yeah, so you're the new
I think
guy.
there's no drama if then multiple people are just chasing you at the same time.
Wait, say that one more time.
If you become like the acquaintance, and then I think by nature, if you're the acquaintance, then everyone flocks to you as the new person. And then there's
Yes.
a whole new bit of drama that happens for you.
That hasn't happened yet.
But
I'll
it's
let
not
you-
with it-
Assuming
it's
you
not
have the
within-
Riz.
It's not within this friend group though.
Right.
Obviously, I'm still single, so I ain't got no riz.
Yo, y'all funny.
That can lead into the next question. Like, what do you guys think about age gaps when it comes to dating?
Me?
We can start with
answer that. Yeah, I'll start with me. Let me think. I guess I have to think about what I think age is first.
We'll say 10 years. 10-year age gap.
Okay, so I think this is what I think about age first. So first, I definitely know people like in their mid to late 20s that don't take care of their bodies, and they look like they're like in their mid 40s.
Yeah,
what I
okay,
mean?
yeah.
And then, but there's also people that are older than me. So I'm 38. There's definitely people that are older than me, guys who play flag football with, and these guys are literally in their like almost mid 40s, and they look like, they're like running around like they're 25, right? And then so for me, age is like more so like how much wear and tear do you put on your, like if you had a car and you took care of it like super well, then the car is in good condition and it still works well and things like that. So first and foremost, for me, age is like kind of like, that's part of the equation. The second part of the equation is experience, right? Obviously, if you've
What
been
type
through
of experience?
well, just like if you've been through more years of life, just in general experience, general experience.
Oh, let's talk about
I
experience.
just mess with you. I just mess with
I
you.
mean, it encompasses everything, but general experience.
I'm just trying to stir the pot right now.
No, keep stirring. But general experience, like me, like, you know, when I was 22, had not gone through the same experiences I've gone through at 38, and then so there's like a lot of that has to get factored in too, right? And so I think age gap, like to me, it's kind of like it's hard to put like a straight up number on it. I definitely probably can, but it has more to do with how much experience this person has gone through in life compared to yourself, and I guess also like how well have you taken, like if I look like I'm 60, I probably shouldn't be dating someone that looks like they're, you know, like in their 20s. So those two things factor into it. And I do think as you get older, the age gap thing matters. I think 10 years is probably like the max I would go.
All right,
like,
I'll give you a hypothetical. 38, you find this 24-year-old. Everything that you want. Checks off all the boxes. Been through some ish. You doing it or not?
I mean, no, listen. You know how earlier when I was no, I mean, if you're like, yo, the only thing is that number, like, dude, number's a construct, bro. I could like look past that for sure.
Okay.
So you know what I mean? Like, I'm not like, you know, I'm thinking, I'm just throwing out a number because I think like 10 years is probably like, if I'm thinking like 10 years when there's definitely 28-year-olds that like want to get married and have kids and stuff like that, right? They've been through enough life experience to know, all right, look, I'm only looking for serious relationships, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. So I would assume that's why I threw out that 10-year number, right?
Okay.
But I mean, if I don't know, if everyone got up tomorrow and everyone forgot their age, right? How old would your body feel, and how old would that person, like, you know, like, there's that too.
How old would you feel?
I don't know, honestly, like, lately probably a little older than usual, but
Generally.
I think I probably feel like I'm like late 20s, early 30s, like, you know, wake up and forget my number.
What would you think you are?
Oh my gosh.
You said you young and you spry.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, you know, I have like super bad knees. Like sometimes I can't even sit cross-legged. Like I see Karen sitting cross-legged all the time, and I can't do that for too long. Otherwise, I'll have like knee pain. So I would probably say like mid to late 30s.
I don't care and feel young.
I do feel young. I feel like I am like the average of the people I spend my time around, right? Because that's how I live my life, right? I spend a lot of time with guys. So I do feel like I'm in my mid to upper 20s. But one night of bad sleep, I'll feel like I'm 40. So
I agree.
that's a tough one because like mentally you're jacked, your body is just like drained. So that you'll definitely feel that.
That was the most accurate way I've ever heard someone explain how they feel.
Yeah.
Like you literally feel like how the people around you are. If that's how you, like when you hang out with younger people,
Yeah.
you have that demon young energy where you just like want to wild out. And then like you mentioned, when you don't sleep, you're like Jess, I know when you don't sleep, you're like, bro, I think I'm getting sick, man. Like every time, bro.
Yes.
Every time. So
Yeah, and I think like years, or like it's like age, like transcends like years, right? There's like
Yes.
mental age, which I think is big, right?
Maturity.
Maturity.
how mature
right?
they are.
There's like physical age that your body actually feels like, right? And I think those are probably more important than like the number itself when you're like meeting someone or thinking about like some type of relationship with them. I think that's more important.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse and I are 8 years apart, but
Wait, who's older? Are you the cougar?
oh my god,
Yeah, Jesse's 21.
Oh, really?
yes.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, he looks super young. Gosh, but I think that it's just your mentality and how you see things, like you view things with each other. So if you're like someone who doesn't like to party or doesn't like to travel or hang out with friends all the time, which is things obviously I like to do, then I think it would be a lot harder for me and Jesse if he was like, I don't want you doing that, because I mean he doesn't really like doing it, but he'll do it sometimes, and then he'll stay at home and just be like, yeah, you go do whatever you want to do. So I think that's where you find the balance. But I wouldn't think of him as an old person. I just think of him more as an introvert.
Okay. How old do you feel, Jay?
How old do I feel, or
How old
how
do you
low
feel?
would I go with age?
How old do you
Wait,
feel?
how old are you?
29.
29. Okay.
I turned 30 this year,
Okay.
but I feel mentally older, but physically younger. I feel younger now than I did when I was
Yeah.
like 25.
Me and Jay talked about this. Like because after COVID, I feel so young.
I feel a lot better because I don't drink as much. I don't do like toxic stuff to my body as much, and I sleep better. Not having to go to the office all the time is like the greatest thing in the world. Please never make me go back in the office all the time.
And you guys got jacked over COVID. I saw you guys as like before and after pics. Your transformation photos. Those are
Oh,
That helped. That
Saw
like
that,
yeah,
saw that.
focusing on like personal health definitely helped. But when it comes to age, for me it's always just it's like 20. Right now it's like 22 and up, or 23 and up, 22, 23 and up.
I feel like I'm like 25, honestly. Like 7 years. Actually, I feel younger than I did when I was actually 25.
Isn't that crazy if you take care of your body and then everyone wakes up and forgets their age?
Yeah.
Like the number that you feel is the thing that matters
Yeah.
more than the actual.
And it also helps because I'm like I tell people all the time, that my number one priority in my life is my health,
Yeah.
right? So it's like I don't drink that much, seldom, socially sometimes. I never drink to the point where I'm like,
Blasted.
oh my God, I need to throw up or something like that, right? It's like keep it cool, you know what I'm saying? And then work out, eat good, no processed stuff, limit the sugar, and you feel great.
I also happen to know that you have a great skincare routine because we talked about it at something in the water, maybe.
Yo, your skin looking glowing right now.
20s. I'm trying to keep it at 20s.
Your skin is glowing right now.
Thank you.
This is random. You talking about age? There's this guy. He's blowing up kind of on social media. His name's Brian Johnson. Do you know what I'm talking
I
about?
know what you're talking about.
He is this guy who's obsessed with making himself look as young as possible and making his body physically young as possible. He's like in his 60s, I think.
I think
wow.
he's late 40s.
Late
Maybe late 30s, early 40s. But I think he started. I don't know what company, but he had $1 billion exit. So he has $1 billion.
I think it's like PayPal or something like that.
Yeah, but he has $1 billion basically, and he just has a whole team of like 20 scientists just like studying his body and just telling him what to do to like lower the biological age.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
it's crazy.
it's nuts. He takes 100 pills a day. He fasts all day. He has his personal workout to make his body like as young as possible. And he has him and his kid who's like 18. They look exactly the same.
That's crazy. Is he like biohacking his body?
Yes.
Yeah, he's basically.
Wait, is this the guy that's like injecting like the cells of his son?
I don't know if he's doing
Yeah,
that.
maybe a
but-
different guy. Sorry.
So he has a thing called the blueprint, and he's basically like everything he discovers from those scientists that are studying his body, he's just releasing it to the public, so everyone kind of knows what he's doing. I think O was looking into it recently, but I haven't had time to do that. But if you look at him, he kind of looks like, you know how like those vampires kind of look like sometimes in Twilight.
Yes. That's exactly what he looks
Yeah, he
like.
looks like kind of like one of those guys, right?
Skin.
It's like
He looks old and young.
old. Yes. He looks
Yeah,
old
old
and
and
young
young.
at the same time. All right. But you know what's kind of messed up too? He had a fiance and they were engaged and she got cancer and he ended their engagement and kicked her out of the house because she was no longer living by the way he was living life.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
That's
Okay.
crazy.
Hack, do you have a skincare routine?
Not really.
You should get on a skincare routine.
I probably should, honestly.
You should get one. Bro, it's inexpensive. It's easy. Level up your game, bro.
Yeah, I'm lazy, but you're right.
Hey, bro, it's so easy, man. All you need is a cleanser, toner, maybe some serums if you want, and just moisturize and sunscreen.
Moisturize. I do sunscreen when I'm outside.
Nah, you
My
need to wear
face.
sunscreen even when you're sitting inside your house not doing
Really?
nothing. Because the sun's come through the window.
Oh, okay.
No getting away from this.
I will say it does give you like a little, it helps you like your daily routine. I don't know. It makes you feel like accomplished. Like I did my skincare. Woohoo.
Morning, night, or both?
Oh, I have morning and night.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, twice a day. That's a big commitment, bro.
Bro, it takes like 5 minutes.
So little.
It takes like 5 minutes.
5 minutes each time?
And then your face looks straight glowing. You're like, dang, okay.
Hack's
I'm
already
ready for-
running late to stuff all the time. Like,
Okay,
you
you-
think he has 5 minutes?
But here, okay,
That's a great point.
You know what my problem is? Okay, so I have ADHD for sure, right? I'm like prescribed like Adderall and stuff. So if I have like a 10-minute task, I will put that off for like 2 hours. And then so let's say, I don't know, let's say it's 1 a.m. and I'm like, yo, I should go to bed. It's 1 a.m. But I have to like floss, brush my teeth, and take my multivitamins and shit. And that takes like let's say 10 minutes. So I'll literally be sitting there for like hour and a half, and then it's like 3 a.m. and I'm like, fuck, I need to go to bed now. And I literally like this 10-minute task, I could have just knocked it out. So just in my mind, it obviously doesn't sound like that much time, but adding that to it will make it so my ass is not sleeping until like 4. But I should.
All right.
I'm really bad, bro.
Okay, all you got to do then just do you wash your face? Or do you use or you do what guys do? They use like body wash on their face.
No, I wash my face.
Okay.
I wash my face.
Okay, just do that and just put moisturize and sunscreen.
Okay.
That's all you need.
All right, I need a.
Karen, you be on a sunscreen? Yeah, but you be on that skincare?
Only recently, but yes, I have been.
I have to yell at her all the time.
My skin routine would appall you
What is it?
because sometimes I'm in the shower and I'm like, with just the water.
Oh man.
I don't do much with my face, but I probably use like cleanser maybe like 2 or 3 times a week. But I have been trying to do, because I can tell my face is aging, I do use like SPF 50 every morning when I get up now.
Retinol. You need to get on retinol. Helps with the wrinkles.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely getting like rose
I'm
feet.
gonna text you for your routine.
Yo, mine is elaborate, man. I have 5 different routines.
Okay, I just need the 80-20, bro.
All right. Like I said, like I'm on like I have a morning routine, then I skin cycle. So I do exfoliate one night, then I do retinol the next night, then I have 2 nights of just regular recovery of hydration.
Top of your shit.
Bro, I'm on my stuff, bro.
Health comes first.
Exactly. My health comes first.
Hey, that's what that Brian Johnson dude said. Someone asked him if you could give advice to your younger self, and he's like a billionaire, right? And he says, if I was to tell myself younger something, I would say prioritize your health. He goes, because I would have gone farther than I did. And he's like a billionaire if I just prioritized my health. And I was like, what? So,
but like important thing is SPF because that ages you the most. So when you guys go outside and play their volleyball,
Oh, I always have sunscreen on my
We
face.
always have some. Like we literally have like inside the bag where all the net is, we have bug spray and sunblock for everyone to use.
okay, that's good. I think that's like the most important thing. But you gotta wear it inside your house too. When you work in on the thing, because the UV rays come through the windows.
I'm just gonna buy curtains.
you have blackout curtains. But vitamin D is good for you.
Yeah, you're right.
This well, my face lotion, I'm a little lazy, so it's like a 2-for-1. It's a moisturizer and a sunblock.
Oh, that's what I do. I use the same thing.
God, Jay's judgment seems a
Okay.
little.
I don't know. I like individual ingredients.
He uses mineral sunscreen, so he has to use moisturizer and sunscreen on top.
Yeah.
Oh well, gosh,
of
yeah, it's
acceptance.
tough. But I do have that sunblock stick too, and it's just like a daily one, super sheer, and it's like 50. I don't even know what it means, but it says SPF 50 like plus like times 4.
Oh, it's Korean.
Yes,
That's how
I think so. I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
If you
it
use-
smells really good too.
If you use sunblock, make sure you use Korean sunblocks because they're
They love themselves more than.
Yeah, it's because
life
that
itself.
the U.S. Filters that they use on the U.S. sunblock is outdated. It's like from like the 90s, and they haven't updated in 20 years. But in Korea, the regulation for it is like more recent, and they started getting into skincare more recently, so that their filters that they use within their products are actually more up to date. And that's why they have the plus. It's like, don't quote me. It's like the quality of the filters and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not that expensive for like that stick. I think it was like $20, but I really.
What color
recommend
is it?
It's that blue one.
I know which one. I use the sunblock version.
Oh yeah, it's so
All right, let's go. Let's circle back. What is your opinion about the age gap thing?
Oh well, I guess like I said, Jesse and
Yeah.
I have a big age gap. I just think it was timing. Like when I was younger, I was also dating someone who was older, and I think that my maturity level was way too low, and I was like jealous and immature and getting angry about little things that now I look back, I like laugh. So I think it's definitely comes down to where you are in your life and where your partner is in their life. And if you guys can really, really see eye to eye on things.
What was your age gap the first time?
It was 5 years.
5 years? That's not too bad.
Yeah, but I was like 20 and he was 25. So.
That's not too bad.
But it's hard because you know he was like going out drinking and partying, and then I was home, like in school.
Not give
studying.
you them cuddles. What about you, Karen?
I think like Hack said, like the older you get, the less it kind of matters. I would say like most of the relationships I've been in have been probably within a 5-year gap.
How young of a guy you going?
Oh,
25-year-old.
honestly, it depends on the person. 25 seems kind of young.
Okay.
For me.
What if he's like super mature? Like this mature ass 25-year-old.
But then would dab every once in a while.
Ugh. Oh, well, I do that. I do that. So we're doing okay. I'm like unfortunately like immature at times. Gabby knows this because I do it a lot. So that's probably depends on the person. If age is the only thing, then yeah, I could
What
probably
about he's
overlook that.
50?
I'm probably probably not opposed to like a 50-year-old with like life in him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I just, yeah, it's probably not a huge deal. But I do think it's okay. So I will say this: my parents are 14 years apart.
Okay.
And that does like have its challenges, right? They're in different places. Like my dad's retired. My mom is
How
well, I guess not retired.
how old were they when they first started? Like,
My mom was probably 17, probably 18, 19. So at that time, my dad was
I
in his
see.
mid 30s.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more frowned upon now than it was back in the day.
Yeah. I think it was like a much more commonplace back then. But it is tough because they're in different stages of their lives, right? My mom is like, you know, having fun, being early retired. My dad is like mid 70s at this point, right? So like his lifestyle is a lot different. So seeing that's kind of tough, right? When you get to like your mid 70s, like the way you think about life is a lot different, right? My mom's like, I can't wait to go do this with my grandson, and my dad, like on the other side, is like, hey, this is probably like the last hike I can do with you guys, right? Like that type of stuff is hard. And when you have like a partnership and a companionship with someone, and you think about that ending much earlier than your life ending, that's hard.
Yeah.
Right. So that is, I do think that that's something to consider.
What's your age?
I said earlier, I said for me right now, I could do like 22 for now. Because I'm 29, I can deal with someone who's 22. Although it's different. I wouldn't want to deal with someone who was 22. It was very interesting. I wouldn't be against it. It's like a whole new different experience.
I think it's tough just because we're, to me, like in the same generation.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're like, but me and Jay are like at the end of, you know, millennials, or closer to the end of it. So then when we date someone who's like 22, they're like a Gen Zer. And then I feel like it's a whole different like dating situation.
It is somewhat, but I feel like I just try to come up. I feel like this goes with all dates I feel like people go on. They try to come up with like a common ground, and you can kind of talk about that, and then through that common ground you kind of understand like who they are as a person. But I mean, you've been on dates with people who are pretty young too. Some are good,
Just one.
some are bad. And it's just like that with everyone. People who are older, some are good, some are bad. It's not really so much of the age, but I'd be okay with 22.
And he's talking about, I went on a date with a 22-year-old like a couple months ago, and I'm like, yeah, this ain't me. This ain't me. That was the end
It's
of that.
different. The language is different. The culture is different.
Yeah, kind of. Actually, yes and no. Yes, in that like the culture is different, but like I feel young and I'm still in that, like I can still do it if I want to.
Yeah,
So I understand, but it's more about what Hack said. It's like the maturity level. Like they weren't mature.
Yeah.
Like I could tell that they was on some other ish that
Yeah.
I'm not on. So I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not for me. I'm not going to continue this. It's not going to go anywhere.
So it could have been another 22-year-old that
Wanted
was
to have
more
your
mature.
babies.
I think that like if you asked me this question like a year ago, I would have been like, no, nobody under 24. Now I listen to wise Hack over here. As you get older, that stuff don't matter no more.
Yeah, a lot of things don't
So it's like, if hypothetically, if I met this perfect girl and she was like, say like 22, 21, and like she's mentally there,
Yeah.
and like she's like not like whatever, and she's like there for it, and like she's on the same page as me, I hesitate, but I'll be like, I'm not gonna knock you off because you're like only 21. But generally speaking, most people go to school now. I'm not gonna date somebody still in college. I just don't want to deal with that.
Okay, I agree with that. Yes,
But that's why like usually my kind of soft cap is like around like 23, 24, which is kind of like after college.
Yeah.
But like if I listen to Hack here, not all people go to college. That don't matter. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's like her situation. Say there's a
Put it on me, bro.
22-year-old, and then she didn't go to college. She got her own business. She matures, hell, treat me right. Has great family. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not know you were like that. Literally, a couple months ago when we went to New York, you were like, "No, she has to go to be in college," because you were on mom's side.
probably was drunk.
My mom was like, "No, she has to go to college." I'm like, "Mom, it doesn't matter." Like I know people who they don't go to college. They went to a trade school. They make 6 figures. Their life is fine. Like nothing's wrong with them. Like no. I'm like okay.
It's did your mom tell you the reason? So my mom is like hardcore. The person you gotta find has to go to school, because like going to school is like in her mind, traditional mindset, is like a metric of like your intelligence level, which I don't think is true at all.
Yeah.
Like, there's people who graduate school who are dumb as hell.
Yeah.
And so she's like, her example is, I didn't immigrate to America to provide you the best life that you could provide for you to date someone that didn't go to school.
Yeah.
Yeah, but generally speaking, if your mom just like, okay, you can only date people that graduate from 4 years school, on a general level, I mean, she's probably right. You'll probably find people of higher intelligence than people that didn't go to school, right? But the thing is, like, obviously, like, you know, that's in general. You can definitely find people that didn't go to college that are way smarter than people that went to college.
Exactly.
People that dropped out to start a business, for instance. I mean, that's so much harder than just like kind of making it through your classes so you get the diploma at the end. So, I mean, generally speaking, your mom is right, but you have to be able to judge the individual people.
Yeah.
Like, not like, you can't generalize like an actual person sitting in front of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so your mom, I think your mom is right, but at the same time, it's like, okay, like this one instance with this one individual, do they fit the generalization? If not, then you should be able to think for yourself in those moments, I think.
Yeah.
No, you're all right.
how I
100%. Exactly. 100%. And I was trying to tell my mom that. I was like, no, what if she's like, all good? No. I'm like, Mom, that's you. You're going to have to deal with it. I was like, if I find that, Mom, you just have to deal with it. It's
Would
crazy.
you just lie to her about it and be like, oh, yeah, she
I
went
can't
to
lie.
school?
I couldn't lie to my mom.
You
I love
cannot,
my mom.
you cannot lie to your mom. Or at least I can't, because she just knows.
Your mom knows
My
everything.
mom knows everything. She just looks at me
Smells
and
it
she
out.
just be like,
Yo.
you're lying to me. Or something like that. Like, just so
Yo,
smart.
low key, I don't know if y'all moms ever did this. My mom has told me how every single one of my relationships ended before I even do it. Like, from the very beginning, mom took one look at them girls and was like, oh, I know what's gonna happen.
Ooh.
She called
that's tough.
She always called it before I even freaking knew it. I'm like, I didn't believe it at the time.
Yeah.
Look back on it, like, damn, she knew. She
Yeah,
knew.
she called it.
She knew about like every, like, I had friends. We have a certain person in the past, right? Didn't end up too well. He called him out on his BS, like way before like first or second impression, and she told me like, beware of that guy.
Damn.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
No. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think I know who you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Well, we
Yeah.
all cut him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so
I
Cut
knew
his
it
ass out.
too.
my mom basically saw one look at this guy, interacted him one time, and was like, yeah, don't hang out with that guy. He's not a good person.
Damn, that's
And then-
crazy.
yeah, and all that stuff
Go
ended happening.
bloodhound. She sniffed it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, that's kind of cool.
She does it. She does it multiple times. Like Dara was talking to someone once upon a time. She's like, "That's not a good person."
Yeah, to my friends too, like talk about matches with my friends.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's not a good person.
She's
for
like,
her.
"There's something wrong with them. Some of this, something like that." I'm like, "How do you know this?" She just knows instantly every time.
She's
Like,
that
you're a
feeling.
genius.
She's that feeling. But I think what it is that like your mom might be able to do this, Karen. So you had a restaurant, right? I think that because like they interact with so many people for like 20, 30, 40 years, that you can just like get used to just reading people like a
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
Intuition, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
into it. Can y'all's parents do it?
No, but I would say I'm pretty good at doing it. Actually, I'm usually pretty good. That's why I'm hard on my friends with the people that they end up with, because I mean, I really do think that I surround myself with good people, and when they bring around someone who just isn't a good match for that, I want to say they're a bad person, then I do try to tell them, but no one really likes hearing that. You know?
That is true.
Wait, Gabby, yo, Gabby, you crazy, dude.
I'm serious. I'll just be like, hey, I just don't think this person's good for you, and then I'll give them reasons why, and then they usually hit me with that. You just don't know them like I do. I'm like, all right.
So have you generally been right?
Yes.
Man, the women's intuition, man. Yo, what is it? Y'all crazy with it.
But you're gonna be more right than times that you're not right, because most people don't get married. Like most relationships do end, right? I mean, most people like have multiple relationships before marriage, right?
Not always.
I mean, most of the time.
I think most of the time, I
I
think
mean-
there are less high school sweethearts than there are people who.
I only know one. My brother literally is the only person I know that dated the first girl, and then they have kids now. It's crazy. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? Most people have like.
Brandon.
I mean, that's true.
Azim.
So I mean,
Brandon
but I
Azim.
wouldn't just doubt every single person they're with.
You wouldn't doubt every person. I'm just saying you're gonna be right most of the time when you're like, no, I don't like that person.
But I think it's less about like whether it'll work out, and it's more about like identifying red flags and her like putting it on the table for you. Like I feel like for women, you probably kind of beat around the bush a little bit, right? Like if you don't love that person, that's cool. It's your friend's like, decision, and you can kind of like gently serve them like some of your feelings on that thing. But I think Gabby's like pretty straightforward and blunt about like, hey, this is a red flag. You should look out for this. And like, I think she's
Well,
good about being forward about that.
generally people ignore the red flags for the ones they want.
Yeah, for sure.
They make rules for the ones they don't want, and they
Yeah.
break rules for the ones that they want.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
But speaking about friends and like talking about your friends, Hack, we're gonna go to your. We're gonna end the podcast with your topic. If your friend is getting fat, do you tell them, and how do you tell them?
Oh, me? Depends on if your friend is a guy or a girl, and if it's. I mean, it obviously varies, right? I mean, if it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, you would tell Jay differently than you would tell, like, let's say, like a girl that might be a lot more sensitive about her weight, or if it was like your girlfriend. I mean, those are 3 different battles, right? So you're gonna have to be more specific on who I'm talking to.
We'll say just a friend first.
Guy friend?
Guy friend.
Oh, guy friend's easy, man. Yeah, I think guy friend, you can just kind of tell him. I mean, maybe not straight up, but you're like, hey, man, I don't know, man. It's just, yeah, I think guy friends, I could be a lot more straightforward. Just kind of like.
Straight up tell them, just roast them.
Yeah, man. When was the last time you saw the inside of a gym?
That's good. That's a good one.
Hey, low key, that's how guys do it though. They just like straight,
right?
just straight bake them.
No, you have to, I mean, you have to be okay with getting roasted, and you have to, like, you know, you can dish it out, you can take it too. So I think most guys are like that.
If you're not close to them, you're not gonna bake them, right?
Yes.
Ladies, what y'all think?
I wouldn't want to tell them. But if it's not like really affecting their life, then
I think that's a key one. What you think, Karen?
I think it's definitely different. My experience is that women, when they gain weight, they are the first people to notice, right? I'm not the first one to notice that person put on weight. They are, right? You don't think women look in the mirror all the time, and they're the first to bring it up too. And it gives you an easy out, right? If someone's like, yo, I've been putting on weight, or like, you know, I don't feel myself or whatever, then it's easy for like us to jump in and be like, hey, let's go to the gym together, or let's go fucking go play volleyball together. You know what I mean? It's easy for us to try and suggest something or help in some way. But I do think women are a little bit more like open to talking about that stuff. So I don't think I've ever had to approach one of my female friends and say, hey, like, you looking a little unhealthy out here, right? Like, or,
Dude, that's crazy. You said if
Yeah,
women
for sure.
know?
even
Most women know?
of course.
100%.
Oh, dang.
They look at themselves in the mirror every day, and that's like I think that's like
Everybody.
most women. I'll say that about myself, right? If I put on 2 pounds, I'd probably notice it, right? But it's also like something that I feel like women say out loud pretty like openly, right? They're like, man, I really
say it out
feel
loud.
this whatever outfit looks really tight on me, it doesn't fit, right? Or like, hey, I really feel like I've been like putting on weight, or like I've been eating bad or whatever. And so it really does give us an out. I think most of the relationships I have with guys are pretty like
Straight
jovial,
tell-
like they're funny, right? Yeah, so I can like go up to one of our friends, I'd be like, yo, I chilled on those Thai teas or whatever, right? Like, and it's fun. It's like mad sugar, right? So it's like,
Those will get you, man.
yeah.
Freaking Thai teas.
Yeah, those things are relatively funny. I mean, I think if it was like a serious issue, right, you probably have to be a little bit more gentle about like how you bring those things up. But yeah, I think with girls it's easy because it kind of like comes to you, right? And then guys, like, yeah, they can take it. They got a little thicker skin. They can take it.
Yeah, like I mean, even just like looking on past pictures, like sometimes you're just like, damn, I used to be so skinny. Like, I need to do something about it. That's usually how it like comes up or whatever. I mean, that's how I tell Karen that all the time. I'll be like, damn, before Jesse I was a little skinnier. I was like, we need to work out more.
Yeah, now we're accountability buddies, right? We just like do things
gotcha.
together.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you for teaching me that.
Of course.
All right. What do you think, Jay?
Like, would I tell somebody? I wouldn't tell anyone that ever.
You wouldn't tell anybody?
No, I wouldn't, unless they're like my close friend, or as you mentioned, it's getting
Yeah.
extreme. Like someone
Yeah.
has doubled their body weight. Then I'm like, yo,
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree.
you was like, if it was a girl, I'm like, yo, you was 110, now you 220. Like you got some.
Yeah, that sounds scary.
Like, come on now, you ate yourself.
I think I like okay. So like for me, I think that as long as they're happy, it doesn't matter. So like if they don't care that they gain 50 pounds and they live a happy life, and there's nothing wrong, it's not a concern. It's not my business.
Yeah.
It's not my business. Even if it's like someone really really close to me, like one of our whatever close friends like gain a whole bunch of weight, if you're happy, you're okay with it, and it's not disturbing your life, it's not my job to check you.
Yeah.
Because you're happy. Like if they're like married, got kids and
Yeah.
everything, that's cool.
Yeah.
You're happy. It's all good. It's not my position.
Yeah.
Now, y'all said it. If it's a health concern
Yeah.
and you can know that y'all go up the stairs and they sitting there like taking like a break
Yeah.
like 10 steps up, I'll be like, hey,
Yeah.
I think you should like,
Yeah, for sure.
you know, so I think that's the stipulation. If it's not ruining their life,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. If it is, then
Yeah.
as a friend, I'm trying to help you out. Like I want you to live a long and healthy life. But let's take it up a level. What if it's a significant other?
I don't know.
Y'all went first last time. When y'all go first?
If it was a significant other, all right, one, That is tough. I would say it in a way that affects what they want. Does that make sense?
Is it manipulation?
Huh?
No, I'm just kidding.
It's a form of manipulation, yes. It's like, all right, everyone wants something,
Yeah.
right? So if they want something, they really want something, like, hey, you know, it'd be a little easier if you do that if you drop some LBs or something like that, you know? Like maybe,
I would cry.
maybe,
Say it like that.
maybe they're like, oh, I think this girl's really hot. I'm like, oh, yeah, she is pretty hot, but you know, you can look like that. Really, yeah, she's just a little bit lighter than you. I wouldn't say it like that, but something like that. If someone really wants to, you just make it so they actually want it. Not like, I want this for you. You should want this for yourself.
So an example would be like in our society now, people are victims of comparison. Everybody's always comparing to other people.
Yeah.
So they would like, oh, she looks really hot. You can be like,
You could be hotter.
you could be just as hot.
You could be hotter.
Let's go to the gym. Let's work on it. Let's do it
Yes,
together.
Yes, it's like
that?
Yes, exactly. It's like something that if they want something, you have to make it something that they want, not something you want. Because if you want it for them, they're never gonna work. You're never gonna keep it.
Okay. I guess I sponsor. Okay.
Yeah.
My take on it is a little different. So I would only consider somebody who lives a healthy lifestyle. So like most of the time, when I tell people, they're like, "Oh, what's your type?" They're like, "Oh, you have to date somebody who works out." And to be honest, I don't care if a girl works out or not. Like if I date a girl, like I don't care if you go work out. I just care that you have a healthy mindset, because I think that. Okay, like you could be a girl that works out. You could be single and you hit the gym hard, being skinny, whatever. But on the weekends, your eating habits are bad, whatever. It'll catch up to you eventually. But if your mindset is that you live a healthy lifestyle, like generally you eat good, you live a good life. Maybe you don't work out, you'll be fine. And for me, that's all I care about. So like it's like I see it as I would only pick somebody who's lives a sustainably healthy lifestyle that lasts like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. I don't have to worry about that. But if they were to gain weight, I don't know. I'll probably do what Jay said. I'll probably be like, I would never tell them directly. You can't. I don't want to kill somebody's like demeanor. I'd be like, hey, I'll ask them to do something with me. Hey, I'm trying to go on a hike. You trying to go with me?
Yes.
or like, I want a gym partner. You trying to be my gym partner?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Something constructive.
Maybe you can suck at them like, hey, I'm trying to go to Bora Bora. You trying to take some fire pics? You know what I'm saying?
Take some fire pics.
You just have to have an annual trip where you have to be in like, you know, a bathing suit.
Yeah,
and
that is a good idea.
yeah. Then you don't have to say anything.
Yeah, there you go.
It says itself.
Or according to you, women already know. So all I gotta do is kind of like push it in the right direction.
Yeah, you just got to know when it's a trap, because sometimes they're like, you know, oh, do I look fat in this? And there's a right answer to that and the wrong answer to that.
Correct.
So.
But I also think that like
What's the right answer?
I also think that like as you get older, like back to your thing, as you get older, that doesn't really matter anymore. Like if I was married to a woman in like 10 years from now and like motherhood hit, like sometimes you can't help
It's
it.
tough, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like so I guess it's like has to do with the situation too.
I think the physical attraction will always matter. But I do think we have to break it into two categories. There's one category where it's like, okay, you know, like you're saying, like the actions that you're taking obviously aren't healthy versus, oh, like I just had a kid. Like I know that I gained some baby weight. Like there's obviously like differences in how you approach those two things. But I agree with you. The thing is the physical look is it's almost like a lagging indicator of how healthy you are as a person. And if like, let's say the person's like not sleeping like a lot and kind of eating a lot of junk food, then that's more so the thing that you gotta kind of like help them out with, right? Because I mean, nobody wants, I don't even think the people like, and honestly, I think most people that I would be in a relationship with would default to being healthy. So if they're in a situation where they're being unhealthy, it's probably because there's a lot of shit going on, a lot of stress, and a lot of things like that. So you have to consider a lot of things when it's like a significant other. If it's like just like a guy friend, I'm like a lot more like obviously.
Yeah. Get your fat ass in the gym, bro.
Well, I mean, it depends, right? Depends. If it was someone that I knew was like sensitive with their weight, obviously I'd be a little bit more like, you know, kind of like, yo, let's go to the gym together type of stuff too, right?
Yeah.
But if it's someone that I know can like, you know, dish it out, then I'm like, all right, man, all right, it's your turn. Right? But then obviously with the significant other, like it's because the end result, like I think with any type of relationship, especially with a significant other, is you do want the person to do better.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a way to do that, to make it so it's highly likely that it happens.
Correct.
And there's definitely a wrong way, which can obviously make it much worse. So, so yeah, I think I agree with your points for sure.
Ladies,
I think it's tough for me. Jesse, as you've seen, he's pretty skinny. So if anything, he has a hard time gaining weight or like gaining muscle, where he probably has pretty bad like eating habits. Like we eat out a lot. So it's hard for me because I gain weight, easily. So I'm like, okay, well, if we do this, and it's like late night. So he'll be like 10 p.m. He's like, damn, you want McDonald's? And I'm like, oh my God.
Yes. How did you know?
How'd you know? But then it's tough on me because then the next day I'm like, oh my God, okay, I'm gonna go play volleyball for like 3 hours now. Goodbye. So I think it's like a little tough on me in that case. But in other relationships that I've had, I don't think I've ever been to the point that I'm like, wow, I really need to say something about it, because it's always at the same time I'm like also going in that direction. So I'm like, wow, it would be really messed up for me to be like, you need to go to the gym when I know I need to go to the gym. So instead, yeah, it would make it more like a, hey, like, you want to go to the gym together? Like, I need to lose some weight, so we're gonna go do something. Or now, like, Karen's usually my accountability partner, so we go to the gym a lot together.
I know. I
Because
see
I'm
y'all.
unemployed.
Y'all put it in work.
I know, and I feel like I'm not really making much progress.
Hey, Rome wasn't built in a day. Rome wasn't built in a day, man. You gotta see your body like a slate of a slate of
Marble.
Marble. There you go.
Chipping
You're
away.
slowly chipping away at it.
It's like that's what it feels like.
Hey, think about every marble counts. Every little chip counts.
I'm gonna send you a picture. There's like a little picture of a guy. He's chiseling himself out of marble. It's like this fat blob, and underneath he's just chiseling himself away.
Oh yeah, that's good motivation. But I mean, it does fall on me too, because I know my habits aren't much better. Like, as you guys know, when I drink, I drink, and I
Hey,
drink
but
like
you
a
fun,
dude.
Though. You fun though.
I mean, I try to be, but like at what cost? So I mean, it's tough. I love tacos. I love Taco Bell. So
What's
it's
your
just
favorite taco
like from Taco Bell?
in general?
Oh,
Go to taco.
uh,
El Pastor.
no, I like chicken tinga.
Okay.
My favorites.
Okay.
With a flour tortilla, which is even more unhealthy.
You team flour tortilla.
Yeah, corn tortillas are too
Get
dry
the hell
for
out of
me.
my
Wait,
house.
hey,
Good, I wanted to
corn
leave anyway.
tortilla household. No, I'm kidding.
and if you ever go to Mama Tigre, they have the chicken tinga tacos on naan.
Oh,
Oh, I've never been there.
Y'all might as well go hit up
It's like,
it
yo,
up after.
even more unhealthy.
I know, I'll be like, hey, are you
on a cheat
hungry?
day. On a cheat day. Oh, you want to go there on the way home? I haven't eaten yet.
Yeah, do you see this? All my friends are like skinny, and then I'm like the, thick Latina who like eats one taco and then gains like 5 pounds. But I do it anyway. It's tough out here.
Food is life. What about you, Karen?
I think I'm probably most similar to you, where I feel like I value like health and wellness and fitness, like mental health, as well as like physical health. So I think that would be something that we shared. So I think it's kind of, I don't want to say it's easy, but like when you have those things in common, it's like one of those things you probably like consistently tackle together. And if someone kind of falls off, someone kind of is
Amen.
your equalizer, right? That is like, we should do this stuff together. And generally, I feel like if you're putting on weight, I'm probably putting on weight if we're like doing stuff together. And so,
Correct. I agree with you 100%.
but I wouldn't be like, you're fat. I'd probably, I'd probably be like, hey, I just, we've probably been off the wagon for a minute. We should probably get back on the wagon now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think, at least I think we all agree, you're
Yeah.
not gonna be like to your significant other, hey, you're getting fat. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing you don't say.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I take from it, you don't say that.
Yeah. You could just like show old pictures and be like, damn, look how good we used to look. Like,
Yeah.
we should try to get back to this.
We know somebody who basically showed a picture of their significant other to them and said, hey, look how good you used to look. And that's when they do.
No, he didn't say, look at this. He didn't say, look how good you. He said, look at this. And that's all he said.
Oh,
That's all he said. Just look at this.
I would want a compliment, like, or some kind of motivation. Be like, you don't look bad now, but, what do you want? I don't know, actually.
Wait, would you? Okay, question for each of us. Okay, so I know we're talking about how would you communicate that to your significant other? But let's say you got fat. Let's say, I don't know. Let's say 10 years from now, I don't know. You got comfortable. Let's say your wife still stayed, or your person still stayed the same size, and let's say, I don't know. Let's say we each put on like 15, 20 pounds. Obviously not our best shape. How would you want them to tell you? And if so, how? And would it matter? Because I know, like, we're talking about, oh yeah, let's just like bring up, like, I know for me, like, yo, just tell me straight up. Like, literally, I would prefer it straight up, but I wouldn't dish it out straight up because I know not everyone prefers it. But I'm curious what you guys think? Let's say you went one way, not both people fell off the wagon. Like your ass
Just
fell
one.
off the wagon.
Just one.
Like, would you want them to tell you, and how would you want them to tell you?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a straightforward guy. I would want my partner to tell me straight up, say, "Hey, listen, babe, you're getting fat as hell. Go hit the gym."
Yeah.
Damn, if you have to get fat as hell for them to tell you that you're fat as hell, it's tough.
But see, that's the
But
thing.
yeah.
Though, I think that like
You wouldn't, right? Like,
I think that sometimes that like regardless as a friend or significant other, I don't think it's my place to tell somebody because like you can sometimes want somebody to change. Like I could tell like, Hack, I want you to change. You're not gonna change unless you want to change. So there's
Exactly.
no point in me saying anything.
Right.
So like,
Exactly.
unless you want to change yourself,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? There's no point in me saying anything.
Right.
Exactly.
Right? So like say 10 years from now, if I'm fat and I chose to be fat, like if I'm hitting the McDonald's every night, that 20-piece nugget every night for 10 years, right? Bro, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. And if I'm at that point and if someone tells me, I'm probably gonna like not care that they said you can go lose some weight. I'm like, I'm choosing to be like this, right? But if I wanted to change, I'd be like, they tell me, I'm like, all right, I'll go.
I think it's a little tough. I mean, like, if Jesse were to literally tell me that, I would feel like, look, I actually agree with you. I probably should, but he also would need to be in it with me because, like I said, his eating habits are bad. He's like showing all this like fast food in my face all the time, or his like family cooking is super good and it's not really healthy. So I feel like I need you to help me. Like if you're gonna sit there and eat McDonald's while I have to eat a salad, yeah, I'm gonna cry.
That's fair. That's fair.
Wait, what is his race?
He's Laotian.
Oh man, that Laos food be hitting,
my-
man.
Yeah.
It's so spicy though, but it's so good.
Wait, do you eat raw beef?
No.
The one there's
Oh,
a
I haven't had that yet.
Oh, there's a Laos dish where they literally cut the beef like straight up raw and they put like a whole bunch of seasoning in it. Oh, it is.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It's like my big sis is my Greek big sis. She's Laos, and I went to a wedding down in Harrisonburg, and her dad literally like cut a cow like butchered a cow like 2 days before the wedding, so the meat was like fresh off the bone. Literally, and they shaved the meat. Oh my God, that joint was so good.
Sounds good.
Oh, yeah, their food is really good, but I wouldn't. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's just like what I've tried. It's usually a lot of like fish sauce, so it's like high in sodium.
Like that lob.
Oh my God, so
That
good.
lob is good, huh? That lob is good.
Can go.
Sorry. So would I want to be told?
Yeah.
Man, how would I want to be told? I would probably want it on the chin. I'd like probably give it to me straight up. I think it's tough because the times where I gained weight, it's because I'm like on a bender of unhealthiness, usually driven by like stress, right? And so sometimes you need someone to like knock you out of it, right? And remind you, hey, you got to like take care of this, right? Or do this. But I do think like, I guess it's tough because I think psychologically it can be like kind of damaging, right? It's like, is my partner still attracted to me if they're telling me this, right? Like how challenging is it going to be for me to go back to what I was, right? Like those type of things are hard. But I think I would want to know if they felt that way. But I do think like everyone's probably their own worst critic, right? I feel like when you notice it yourself is probably before someone else notices it. But yeah, I'd probably want to know.
Before you go, there's a saying on that. You know that you are actually 20. They say that you are actually 20% more attractive than what you think you are. So like, if you want to scale on a 1 to 10, like,
Yeah.
Hack, what would you rate yourself?
Me?
1 to 10.
I don't know, dude. It honestly depends on the day.
But I get 8 hours of the day.
8 hours of sleep.
8 hours of sleep. Yeah, what are
My
you?
range is probably between 6 and 8.
You waking up feeling prime. How you feel? You waking up feeling confident, like you
Then I
about to
just have
fuck
a
up the
hair-
world.
Sometimes I don't get my hair cut, bro. So my hair be like
Fresh
crazy
cut,
sometimes.
everything. You feeling
Yeah, I could
in your
myself- I
prime.
could probably do an 8.
An 8?
probably
That means
do
you're really a 10, bruh.
Really? You think
Because
so?
you a dime
20%.
plus 99.
20% of 8 is not.
It's like 10.
Yo, don't worry, 9.7 something.
Yeah, there you go.
Round up, right?
I thought you said there's no such thing as perfect tens.
Actually, a perfect 10.
9.7.
I
something.
wouldn't take advice from someone who isn't a perfect 10. Look, y'all cute as fuck over there.
Y'all can leave now if y'all want.
Thoughts, Jay?
Well, I mean, on the last question, I would want someone to tell me straight up, just because that's how our mom told
That's
us.
our dad tell us straight
No,
up.
that's how I know our mom. When I was in high school, getting really tubby, eating too many cheese wontons and lo mein, our mom literally says, "You got some legs that look like some pig legs."
Oh, you right.
You got some pig legs right now, Jay. What is this?
Yo, this motherfucker got fat as hell in high school.
fat.
Like he was crushing the cheese wontons like
Cheese wontons, I
an
love
order
it.
a night.
They're so
They're
good.
so
and so not
good.
Chinese, but so good.
So good.
So you guys also grew up in restaurant life.
Yes.
Oh,
Wait, was yours a carry out?
it was both dine in and take out, delivery, all of that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Hey, what was the favorite dish? What was your guilty pleasure?
I like chicken and broccoli often, and like green pepper steak often, like those two things. But I would say generally when we worked there, which was often, we ate like off the menu. Like we'd actually eat like real Chinese food.
Oh damn,
Damn, we didn't get that.
man, you spoiled.
But I
didn't get
wasn't
that.
about like that egg foo young type shit. Like I don't like any of like the generous, like any of that breaded stuff. I didn't like any of that.
Oh
stuff.
yeah, I agree with. I like the.
Yeah.
Jesse loved that General Tso's chicken, or he used to steal it. I just like beef and broccoli,
Oh,
or
yeah,
or like pepper steak, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I like that.
Triple delight. If I was like, Mom, can I have shrimp?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that.
So
that
the only
type
time we got triple delight is like if someone ordered it
Uh-huh.
and like no showed, and then we'd be like, oh yeah, well, I guess we'll eat this.
Mom, can I have this?
Yeah.
See, I was fat as hell growing up. That's also why I'm so health conscious, because I don't ever want to get to that point ever again in my life. And I love me that fried chicken. I love me some fried chicken. And the Gerald Tso's chicken, man, I'll be stealing the fried chicken on the side.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
oh, you just got a fresh batch? Let me get like 2 of them guys.
Definitely done that. Definitely.
That's why I like them chicken nuggets too. But anyways, we can end it there. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys so much for being here today. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.